Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. Happy 26th of June, everybody. Today it has picked section 13. So we have a bit of colour coming in today's while we get this main section of the ribbon done. I'm using another one of my pens from Lathe Works, which are on Etsy. I'm not sure now if I'm actually going to have to take this glue dot out and bob it back in. I think I will. It's taken me 2 goes to pick up each diamond, and then that last one sort of dropped into place. So let's see if I can get away with the same glue dot. If not, I'll have to bob a new one in. Let me try that. I'll see that one's working now. I definitely feel like that one is giving me some grip. But yes, I hope everybody is well. You will be happy to know on the weather update, it is a Goldilocks kind of day today. We are back to sort of 20 degrees, which makes me happy. It is 19 or 20 all week. Rain on and off. I'll check each day, you know, whether it's rain in the middle of the night or not. My app, I can actually check on my app when it's likely to be, but it often fluctuates. So washing days will be the days where there's no rain, probably. And then I will leave the rest. But yes, it is kind of nice to be filming and not cooking all at the same time. So I'm hoping this week to get some of my breakdown of kits done, because it's a longer video, if Catherine's free. I'm not sure what plans she has for this week, but she starts back at work. So before she went to uni, she had a job at McDonald's while she was in college, and she's still been working there each uni holidays. So they're able to pop her onto sort of holiday times, and she tells them when she's available. But at the end of this first year, she decided to take June off to just relax after the first year of uni, call that her summer holidays, and then she's back to working. So there'll be days when she's not available come July, August, before she goes back in September. So if she's got no plans, she'll be watching Luna next week and chilling in the conservatory. But at least it won't be absolutely cooking. Muttnuts said, hello Rebecca. She said she hopes all is well. All is well. It's nice and cool. She said she was not able to sleep last night due to a bad thunderstorm there. So she sat up and diamond painted for 9 hours. Wow. She said she got 3 30 by 40s, and she was working on her 30 by 30 that she's doing for June Waffle. It's all done now, so she is kitting up her canvases for her July events. She'll be participating in, and the canvas she will be working on for time-lapse videos on her channel. She says she has had so much fun doing June Waffle, and she loves the channel. Thank you ever so much. That is a really productive day of diamond painting. I mean, I had a really good day on Saturday of diamond painting, but I don't think I got 9 hours in. I definitely did get a chunk of time in, but I don't know if it would have equaled 9 hours with all my stopping and starting. I do miss when I used to be able to get away with pulling what I'd call an all-nighter. I used to do it sometimes when the children were younger. Every now and then I would actually get away with pulling an all-nighter. And I felt like I got so much achieved. There was no distractions. I was in the zone and I got all sorts done. But now, you'd be lucky if I last till 1, 2 a.m. And I'm like, nope, I need sleep. I need to go to bed. Sherry, she says she's cracking up about that state, is it? In the States, beginning with an M. I'm not saying it again. She says she does it too. She says ambulance is another toughie for her. I'm all right with that one. I can say that one out loud. But yeah, there are definitely some words that are harder to say than others, no matter how much you try to say them right. It's like once you've got the bad way of saying it in your head, it's so hard to correct it and correct that bad habit, should we say, and say things the right way. Though sometimes I do it with words that I am perfectly fine with on any other given day. But on this particular day, I could be absolutely horrific with it. So it's all fun. It's all fun and giggles. Lady Dax, she says in the Nancy Warren books, she says the main characters only make guest appearances in the next one. She says, and each series has a new main character. She said, so it's not so bad that the reader changes as you get sucked into the new mysteries. Oh, okay. She says all her readers are really good though. That's all right. If it had the same main character and the main character's voice kept changing, that would drive me up the wall. She says she calls the bent arrow a U-turn, and she says she doesn't even drive. She says, yay me today. She said she used a 3-placer on her ribbon. She says she's not sure if it will become a regular thing, but she did get the hang of it. She says, mind you, she says, don't look too close at the picture for my day 20, as she was so excited about using the 3 that she completely missed out some of the little colour patches. You get stuck in concentration. I've been doing really well using the multi-placer on my Aura Lower painting, which the kitting up video will be coming in July. It's a square painting and it has a lot of blockiness. It has a lot of black outlines that actually aren't just black, and they have loads of shading in them, but it does have really sort of blocky areas of colour that are then outlined. So I found that if I do all my sort of multi-placing colours in my section first and then fill in the lines round afterwards, and because they're not all black, I find I can do that. When they're all black, I feel like I need to do the black first and then colour in. So multi-placing would probably be harder. But the squares fit so snugly together. I get to straighten any of my multi-placing when I do the outline. So I'm not constantly changing from my multi-placer to a single placer to nudge everything in the right place. And I think that's the reason I'm actually going through the Aura Lower painting quite quick, because I'm able to multi-place on it and do my straightening up as sort of a secondary task and not as the first one. You know, not along as I do it. So yeah, it's been quite fun. to do it. I've actually even multi-placed some of the edges. Not all of them, but some of them I have multi-placed. And then I've used my single placer to fill in all the gaps. So it's like a two-step process. But yeah, it's been really fun. Giving it a go. Seems to be my favourite one to multi-place. I have multi-placed a little bit on the Dreamers designs, but it's not as colour blocky. So I don't find it quite as easy to do that. So that one's not getting done quite as fast as my Aura Lower one is. But hey, that means I can change out what picture is done when I get that one finished. And I can do a D-kit and another kit up of a large painting. So that's not a bad thing. Because they're all fun. Ina, she says, although they had a little bit of rain this evening, she said it still didn't cool down a lot. She said it's still 19 degrees at 11:15 in the evening. That's still warm. Like 19 degrees is nice, but not at that time of night. It should have cooled down enough to be able to actually sleep by then. She says she's looking forward to a good cool down. Well, if you're getting the weather after us, ours has just cooled down and then we have a really nice cool week. It's not been as bad in the last week as it has been earlier, but it's definitely taken its cool. We had an absolute torrential downpour Sunday afternoon. The high for Sunday was 26, but as soon as we had the torrential downpour at about 2 o'clock, it went to 21 and it doesn't go up from then. It just goes down and down and down. So hoping for a lot easier to move, cooler days, but still hoping for some sun and some nice days, just not the glaring sun, thanks. She says, unfortunately, it does become even worse for her because Sunday it will be 30 degrees. Yeah, I think you're getting sort of the second wave of whatever we've had. So hang in there. You've probably got another week, but then hopefully you will get the cooler weather. She says, good luck to everybody. She says she also has a painting which is half diamond painting and half paint by numbers. She says she's already finished the diamond painting part of it 4 months ago, but she hasn't got to the painting part of it yet. She says she hopes she doesn't discourage you all for doing this type of painting. She says she just doesn't think it was her cup of tea. It isn't everybody's cup of tea. Well, hopefully the winner will be happy with it because they did enter the giveaway. So hopefully it's something that they want. It's actually on its way back to Australia, would you believe? But it is on its way to the winner. Back to the land of Oz. Carrie says, thank you for another great waffle. She said she is officially 3 parts away from finishing her pitbull painting. So that will probably be finished by now. In fact, I think I remember seeing it as finished on the group. She said then she will do a small golden retriever one to finish off the June waffle. She says they both fit because she has a pitbull named Axel Rose. Guns N' Roses fan there. And a golden retriever lab mix named Ace Hunter. So you get to do a painting of both of your pets. She said she very much appreciates the encouragement to keep diamond painting. She's been enjoying it so much again. And that's good. That's exactly the reason you should be doing it. Because you enjoy it, you should take the time to do something that you enjoy and get that little bit of time in, which is what my plan is, hopefully for every evening this week, is to get a little bit of diamond painting in. I'm actually hoping my decision wheel picks my Dreamer designs, because I feel like that, because that painting has been the longest one out of my 3 that's been going, I feel like it should be getting nearer completion than it is. I keep having to remind myself that it is bigger, so it is going to take longer, and I am more than halfway through. I think because my Aura Lower painting has been picked quite a lot, and I've actually been speeding through that one with multi-placing as well, it makes me feel like, yeah, my other one's taking far too long considering it's rounds, and it's actually not. It's smaller and I've multi-placed. So Catherine says she's in the US, and she has to pronounce the state name in a unique way. So she says it's Massachusetts. And that was the word I wouldn't repeat before, just in case that makes more sense to people. So Massachusetts, maybe that's how I should start pronouncing it and say it's my unique kind of way. She says Massa is a former F1 driver. Yes, I do recognise Massa from F1. I do have a couple of F1 buffs in this house. My husband's always liked the F1, but Karis absolutely adores the F1 and probably knows a lot more about it than any of the rest of us. Though she's educating everybody bit by bit. Sarah, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she's curious. What do you do with the filaments that don't end up printing trays nicely? So I think I answered this one in the last one. Most of them, they will print trays nice. They will still print trays. Some of them, like maybe say like the glitter ones, aren't as good for multi-placing as maybe some of the other trays are, just because of the flecks of glitter in there. They might not, line up and scoot down and line up as well to get to be able to multi-place, but they will still work as trays perfectly fine. And you will still be able to do a level of multi-placing with them. We try to stick with brands that we know as much as possible. But some that don't work, we either tend to pass them on to people we know with 3D printers to have a mess about, or we use them for test prints, or they're just sat waiting until maybe we have some other project that doesn't need to be as precious as our trays are. Catherine says she wishes everybody luck in the giveaway. She said she's in the USA, so she says she won't participate due to shipping. Well, you are more than welcome to still participate. I am shipping anywhere in the world. I've just had confirmation of an address back as I'm filming this, which I'm actually filming it on Sunday afternoon, shortly after our rainstorm that has made the house a cooler place. We're just actually shipping, or we will be shipping to Canada as well. So by all means, do enter. It's also my little bit to cover shipping wherever in the world. And yeah, you should be in with a chance to win a freebie as much as anyone else. Though the USA is doing rather well. There's rather a few giveaways gone to the USA recently. I think it's only actually the last 2 happen to have been Australia and then Canada, Otherwise, we only had Ireland, the USA, and one UK. All the rest, most of them had just gone to the US. So yeah, feel free to enter. I really don't mind shipping them anywhere. Janita says it has been a busy day for her today. She says she had a customer who wanted some jewellery gifts for a trip that she is going on. Her ocean painting is put away for now. And she's working on Inspiration of Spring Meadows by Diamond Art Club. She said it's so much colour and it's beautiful. Bright colour paintings can be such fun to do. Yet it's the muted colour paintings that I often am more likely to hang up somewhere in my home. It's really weird. But I do love doing the colour paintings. Actually diamond painting them and seeing the bright colours. She also says thank you for a wonderful waffle. She says it's going to be very little sleep for her as she does have an MRI at 2 a.m. She says so tomorrow she will be really tired. Well, I hope you've managed to catch up on your sleep. Okay, that diamond's not quite sticking right. It looks a little bit too porky of a diamond. So let's change that one out. And let me just get rid of that one that's got a little bit of a black spot on it. Yeah, hopefully you have managed to catch up with your sleep and that everything went as you expected / wanted it to / the best it could be, dependent on the circumstances. Crafty JJ Newton said thank you. She said she really enjoyed listening to the chat. So happy you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a wonderful day. A wonderful Monday. I had to remind myself then because I've actually filmed Sunday's waffle on the day. It then confuses me when I am filming the next one in advance. But I don't know what my daughter's plans are for tomorrow yet, so I wanted to make sure that this video was ready. Oh, we've got a long one. It's Laurie. I've just seen a few paragraphs on this one, different separate topics. But yeah, Laurie, she says, greetings. She says she was away for a few days due to a nasty summer chest cold. Ooh. There's something about feeling unwell in winter where at least you can snuggle up compared to feeling unwell in summer. It's just, there's just a difference. There is a difference. You expect it in winter. You don't expect it the same in summer. She said she is feeling much better now, which is good, but her poor head was really doing a meltdown, she says, while trying to dot on the J wall painting. She says way too many colours in such a small space, especially if you're feeling rotten. That's why I think the big colour painting, when I do it, I think that might have to be my first section of the evening and do a small section of it. I may even go smaller than my normal cover sheet size. I'm not sure. I might try and make it like a half-hour type, but do it daily. Well, every day that I diamond paint, and do a 30 minutes of that and then do something else. I think that might end up working out the best way for me to be able to get it done, but not for it to be too much, for it to be enjoyable and a little mini challenge each day to find all the colours. Laurie says she thinks she will be over high colour chart counts when this one is completed, though she will be half done by the end of the week. That's what I don't want to do, is I don't want to burn myself out of the high colour ones by doing too much. I think I need to see it as a longer project. That's another reason I would really like to get my big Heaven and Earth design done by then, if I can, because then that will sort of take that one off my plate, and I will be putting another one onto my plate in a different format. But my other Heaven and Earth design is only 15 colours, so it never feels as overwhelming as my big one. Laurie says books. She says she has 4 or 6 authors that she rereads almost every year. She says, but she can only remember 5 of the names. She says, so she needs to track down the last one. She says, brief description of the authors / the books. So James Patterson. Yes, I like James Patterson. She says the Alex Cross series. Cross is a homicide detective in Washington, D.C. She said it's so fascinating to see the inner workings of the Capitol, and Patterson is a great storyteller. I haven't actually read, I don't think I've read the Alex Cross series. I need to really get that in order. I think I've seen a couple. I did see a couple at Centre Parks. And I was thinking of getting one book by him that wasn't Alex Cross. Because, as I say, if it's a series, I like to read them in order. And I debated about it, and I went back to the little shop the next day to get it, and somebody else had bought it. And the only other books by him there were all part of the Alex Cross series. And I was like, oh. Because on holiday, quite often, I do like to have a physical book rather than an audio book. So I might have to pop him on my list to listen to on Audible. Then she says Michael Connolly, which is the Harry Bosch series. Bosch is a homicide detective in Los Angeles. He's an excellent detective, loves good jazz, and she can feel his struggles throughout his personal and work life. I've not tried that one. Then she says John Stanford, the Lucas Davenport series. She said she may have got the character's name wrong, but she has yet to reread these books for a couple of years, as she took out some time to read some of the J.D. Robb books. She said she would have liked them more than she did if she hadn't read these others first. She said, anyway, these books take place in Minneapolis, and it's fun to be able to picture Davenport driving his Porsche on the I-94 going over the Mississippi River to his home in St. Paul. She said he uses so many buildings, lakes, rivers and towns that are real, that she really pays attention to these landmarks when driving through the cities. So is that one that's better though because you can relate to it? Or is it still a good book otherwise? Because I can't relate even to the likes of the I-94, to the likes of a, you know, I've only ever seen sort of a freeway, highway, whatever, on our trip to New York. Apart from that, I can't figure it. I just can't see it in my mind's eye because our motorways are just different. Then she says Vince Flynn, the Mitch Rapp series. Rapp is a black ops guy working for the US government. The series of books, she says, really means so much to her. Vince was from the Twin Cities, but his books took place all over the world. She said she actually worked in the same building he did, but she never ran into him. He was a very respected author and authority figure in the American political scene, and could often be seen as the commentator on the big news channels for various conflicts happening around the world. She said his character, Mitch Rapp, was so clearly defined that she could feel the heat of the desert or the cold snow or the bullets zipping past in a gunfight. She said when Mitch fell in love, she was so happy for him. She says when Mitch hurt, she hurt. She said she won't say any more, but to say that Vince Flynn died at a very young age from cancer. Guess he'll always be a very handsome, smart and charismatic hero for me, as she can still learn, she says, from stories written about him. She says Diana Gabaldon, the Outlander series, which is amazing writing. She says time travel with very authentic settings, battles, food, clothing, relationships. She says just a good book to get lost in, which I do like. I couldn't listen to that one on Audible though. I think I did say in an earlier one, because I do tend to skim read the gory parts. She says the first 4 authors are heavy crime books and not for the faint of heart. She said in the Stanford books, the first chapter describes the crime and it is not sugar-coated. She said after that, there's not too much gore. She said if you really want to know how the homicide detective works, these books tell it like it is, she says, and she loves them. Awesome little synopsis of each of those series, Laurie. Thank you so much for that. There's definitely a couple of those that I am going to go and check out because murder type mystery is my thing. I don't mind a little bit of gore in relation to how it is. It's when they go into so much detail like Outlander does that you have no choice but to visualise it. That's when I struggle. I'm all right if I can sort of, I don't know, I suppose read the scene but quick enough to not picture it. Whereas Outlander often goes, you know, can have quite a few paragraphs describing, you know, what they can see, which makes her books absolutely amazing. But when it's gory, it can make them a little bit too horrific for me. Even the TV show that they did on Outlander, there are parts of that I really, really struggle with watching and will cover my eyes. Peace Serenity says, a long time watcher, first time commenter. Hello and welcome. She says she loves my videos. She says she's finally placed an order from our shop and cannot wait to give your trays and cover paper a go. She says she's in Canada and she watches my videos as a way to relax before bed. She says she looks forward to the Whip and Waffles on a regular basis. She says so June and December are extra special treats. She says thank you for the community that you have created. Well, thank you for being part of that community. Peace Serenity. It is because of people like you that this community is what it is. And it's absolutely amazing. Each and every one of you. Emily, she says she loves listening to me read the comments. She says her mother-in-law was telling telling them about her going to Woolworths when she was young for chocolate Coke. She said, and she wouldn't have known what she was talking about. She says she's also finished her first large 60 by 80 diamond painting, which is Crimson by Curtis Rikovich from Dreamer Designs, and she is lovely. She says now she is on the finish my current whips train to clear the decks, as she has several that are started and just sit there. Amazing. So you have your achievement, you finished your largest painting to date, you're having a clear up, and then you can see whether you fancy a challenge with another big painting, or maybe even a bigger painting, or whether you just want to enjoy the process and continue with something smaller. Once you've cleared the decks, you have options, which is good. Mysterious Day, she says, hi Rebecca. She says this comment might not be entirely what she wants, because she totally forgot what she was, that she was writing this and got sidetracked. She said, so she lost it. She said, anyways, the job is casual, but she is working Thursday and Friday this week, which was the 22nd and 23rd. And then Monday through to Friday next week. Amazing. She says she's so excited and she'll get to swim with the kiddos. She says also, this is not a brag, but she's sharing because she is genuinely excited. She said she made her first big girl purchase with work money of a MacBook. She says currently her laptop is a Windows machine from 2016. She said it takes 30 minutes to boot up fully, so she doesn't even use it. She says she needed a laptop. She got a case, screen protector, port hub and the MacBook for $880 through Amazon. She says, which is technically a deal on the $999 MacBook alone. That seems like a good deal. Definitely get better deals in the States than we do. She says she's so excited. It's arriving on Thursday, and she has desperately missed owning a working laptop. She says, and given it is all funded by herself with a bit of gift money from her birthday on top of her work money, she says she feels like she's earned it. You have earned it. That is an amazing thing to buy yourself with your first, or your first batch of money. Is something that will make your life easier, better, and that you have wanted for so long. She says it will be her first MacBook 2, and given she runs an Apple ecosystem, she says she's been eyeing one since 2016. She said, so it's so good to see her dreams come true. She said, especially considering she hates Windows. Well, absolutely well done on that front. I love my MacBook. I am an Apple kind of girl. It started with the phone. When I went from my little Nokia 6300 to my iPhone 3GS, I think was my first iPhone. And MacBook soon followed, and I absolutely love it. The boys in our house are Windows because they are gamers. So they both like Windows PCs just because they're able to mess more. But all of the girls in the house are MacBook kind of people. Every single one of us. Yeah, we all have iPhones. You know, some of them are in various stages of hand-me-downs. We do share them about, but yeah, I absolutely love my MacBook. I used to have a Windows PC for work, and it would drive me absolutely batty. And the amount of updates it wanted to do was absolutely ridiculous. So well done you, and enjoy your MacBook. Especially if you have an iPhone as well. They can just talk to each other, and it's great. I do all the thumbnails for my videos on my phone, and they just appear on my computer so I can put them onto YouTube. And yeah, I just absolutely love just the little simple things like that. Just make life so much easier for me. Mops the Tops. She said the saying short and curlies, she says, does originate from the UK. She said it means the short hairs on the back of your neck. She says, reason being, you have people at their mercy and in full control, and you do their bidding. She says apparently it has nothing to do with pubic hair, actually. Grab them by your short and curlies. So that is the hair on the back of your neck. There you go. Just in case we did shock anybody in saying it any earlier, in any earlier Whip and Waffles. Excuse me. Kathy, she says she agrees about the U-turn symbol. She says in the US, there is actually a traffic sign with a U-turn on it. Her mum and herself had a standing joke that whenever she would drive her somewhere, we were bound to have to make at least one U-turn because we were going the wrong way. Well, at least that symbol can make you smile and think of your mum. She also says, talking about the names we give to symbols, like unfinished egg timer. That's the one that we call like a TP tent. Unfinished egg timer and pregnant stick and TV antenna. She said there's one she calls an hourglass or a bow tie. She said the honey bun is what she calls the spiral. She said she also calls it a cinnamon roll, like somebody else has said. She says, a fun fact, in Atlanta, a honey bun is a commercial product in the snack category. It is a baked spiral of dough topped with honey and thin white icing. It's super sweet, thus it's called honey bun. There we go. It is a thing. It is an actual thing that is a swirl. Mummy's Escape says hi. She says really enjoying the June waffles. She says she hasn't tried paint by numbers since being a child. Genius idea putting the two together. She said fingers crossed. It is a good idea. There is a couple about. There's that one from Lincraft, but then I have seen one, I think it was FG Normal. I unboxed one from quite a while ago. I've not actually done any in that way. While I enjoy painting, it tends to be more a matter of painting walls in my house and decorating and changing the colour than it tends to be painting a picture. But yeah, there is a couple of different places that do them. Lucinda says hi. She says she got her order today, and what can I say? She says she loves it, so she will be ordering more. She says she loves the chats on June, as she listens when she's doing her diamond art of her 2 nieces and her nephew for her sister. Awesome, thank you so much. It is appreciated, knowing that people like our products, especially when they are new to purchasing from the shop. It is nice to know that people like them and that there are people enjoying the June waffle for many different reasons and different paintings that they are doing while June waffle is on. Kaz, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, how are you? She says, hope all is well. Yes, it is cooler weather, so I'm good, Kaz. Though I am feeling a bit warm now, so maybe the mugginess, the heat from earlier on today hasn't fully dissipated. I'm feeling rather warm as I'm doing this painting, but nowhere near as much as it has been. So I think our British house is just taking a little bit longer to get rid of the heat that it has been storing from the heat wave that has just finished here. She says your hubby and hers sound very similar in their tastes in films. She said hers loves all the Marvel films, and whilst her taste in film is totally different, as she tends to favour action comedy films, she says as long as they are a decent storyline that she can follow and it makes her laugh, she is content. And we do have our diamond painting as well, don't we? So a lot of the time when hubby is watching films, I may, if I find it something that interests me, I'll find myself paying attention to it alongside diamond painting. But then if it isn't something that interests me, I find often I can, just go into, I suppose, my own internal monologue and, plan what I'm going to do for the rest of the week or think about all sorts of other things and catch bits of the film but not particularly pay attention. And it's still perfectly fine because I'm diamond painting alongside it and alongside him watching whatever film has taken his fancy that day. Mops the Tops, she said she just heard me mention King Henry VIII inventing divorce. She says, well, actually he did. She said being a Catholic forbade him to leave his wife as you were wed for life. He disagreed with the church, and because he was king, he thought he would do what he pleases. Hence, he started the Church of England, Anglican, and allowed the annulment of a marriage for no apparent reason. Yes, it was something Curran, I think her surname is. Such a dry sense of humour. Hubby actually put on one of the history things. It was actually the same one that my daughter and son were watching the other day, but because I was in the room, some of it I'd already seen, but some of it I hadn't. It's when I'd come in here and done the waffle. And I was still in stitches over loads of it. Just absolutely cracked me up, some of the stuff that she was coming out with. Such a dry sense of humour. But yeah, it still was informative, even though it was funny. So if you know somebody who isn't interested in history, they would still be interested in it in this way, I think, just for the chuckles. Mops the Tops has come back. She says, me again. She says where she is, it is 2 a.m. She says, so good night. And thanks for your time waffling, she says, which has made me sleepy. She said, hugs from Gippsland, Victoria. Well, I hope you have an amazing sleep, or you did have an amazing sleep and a nice rest. Thank you for being here till 2 a.m. That is not something that is expected. Benefit of YouTube is you don't have to watch it as soon as it goes live, but I understand if people do see it when it goes live, quite often they're like, oh yeah, I will. Cat Lady, she says, hi Rebecca, she was thinking, she says, how your mum was getting on with her Heaven and Earth design. She said charted canvas. She said, any news? She says the waffle has really helped her get through her Heaven and Earth design. Well, I haven't actually spoke to my mum for a couple of weeks. We tend to go through phases. A pair of us are as bad as each other. We will either speak quite a few times in a week, or it will go a few weeks before we speak. And then it will be like we spoke the day before. But last time I spoke to her, she had very nearly caught up with me on where I was. Now, bear in mind that I haven't done my Heaven and Earth design in June. It seems as though that's just been one step too far for my brain to cope alongside the June waffle. And therefore it seems to have fallen to the wayside. It would not surprise me if my mum is now ahead of me, because she has been doing a few squares per day. So my guesstimate is she is ahead of me, because more than likely she will also be doing a Heaven and Earth design while watching my waffle. So yeah, my mum is probably going to start and have finished her Heaven and Earth design before I've even finished mine. But hey ho, it's the way it is. It's the way the cookie has crumbled. Grey Legrand, she says, hi Rebecca. She says for the June waffle, she is working on 4 different canvases. She has completed the Cardinal Fairy first. It's a 25 by 35 image size. Her Butterfly Trio might be next. It is a 27 by 35 image size. She said it's taking longer because she is adding extra bling. She says next up is her cute little owl with coffee. It is 25 by 25 in the image size. And coming in last, she says, will be her Garfield and Oddie from Diamond Art Club. She said it is just under 33 by 33. She says in July, she wants to go back to her Diamond Art Club, Our Lady of Guadalupe. Is that how you say it? She says she's a large canvas, she's squares and lots of colour blocking. She said she does multi-place everything but faces, and she is currently a quarter of it completed. She says since she started diamond painting last July, she has managed to acquire quite a number of large canvases. It's amazing how that happens, isn't it? Just don't quite know how we manage to amass so many paintings. It's like this attraction. It's like this attraction that we just have to pretty things. She says she really wants to work on them, on her, largely acquired large canvases. She says she is also well stocked on snack size budget kits. She says, but those big Diamond Art Club and Dreamer Designs paintings are calling her. Do what I'm doing then, Grey Legrand. Just go to the big ones for a while. I've had for the past, quite a few years, you'll see on my channel, quite a few years, I've had a general rule of one large and one small painting have been kitted up. And that's what I tend to have worked on, not including, of course, my Heaven and Earth design. I class that as a different type of project, even though it's diamond painting. It's just a different thought process. But yeah, I've always had just the one of each, but I find now it's actually my large paintings and the amount of large ones that I've got that are both calling me and making me feel like I probably have, you know, maybe a few too many. Like I feel like I need to get some of those completed because they are constantly added to, more so than the small ones. I'm constantly doing unboxings and my stash is constantly growing with them. I feel like they need some attention. So whether you do them individually or whether you have a few kitted up, like I'm doing, and work through a few at a time, maybe you should just concentrate on some of your big ones until you're like, I fancy a small one, and then pick one of your smaller ones up as well. Make it enjoyable for you. Do I have any letter A's in there? I don't think I do. So I'm just flipping between my colours now. I've done my sort of splatters and now I can concentrate a little bit more on this, though I keep spotting a symbol that I keep missing. I've had that tray out twice already and I'm going to have it out again in a minute. Oh well, it's what happens, especially when it's got so many bitty bits all over the place, but it's actually nowhere near as big a deal when I have my colours in trays, because I can just pull this one down now for the third time and pop it back. So yeah, do your Diamond Art Club and your Dreamers designs because they're calling to you. So answer their bidding and then go back to some smaller ones when you either fancy a change or a bit more of a quick win, or when they're calling to you instead. Answer the calling. You answered the calling when you bought them because that's what makes us buy them is the calling. So answer the calling for completing as well. Claire, she says, hi Rebecca. She said, another great whip and waffle. She says she would normally do diamond painting while watching, she says, but not today. She says she is doing her logbook, which came yesterday. She says, thank you for my order of 3 logbooks and spare pages for them. She says, hope you and the family are keeping okay. She says, thank you for the great videos and everything you do for us. She said, it's much appreciated. So all those logbooks are for you. I did wonder, Claire, you know, I think I said a few whip and waffles ago how occasionally we do have orders that, you know, just make you wonder what somebody's doing. Maybe when, you know, more quantities are ordered than maybe normally are. Or in the instance of Claire, there was an order put in and not a few days later there was another order. So yeah, you are on a marathon session, obviously, to get your logbooks all sorted. I too am now in 3 different logbooks. 2 hold my stash. 1 is currently my completed. That's probably another thing that's made me feel like I need to trim down my stash or get through some more of my stash, is the fact that it has moved into another logbook. Now, I do still have the option to put bigger rings on them. I do still have the small rings on my logbooks. It's just my personal preference. It's how I like them. But yeah, maybe maybe bigger logbook rings wouldn't have felt as bad as actually going into another logbook and having 2 for stash and then 1 for completed. I feel like the ratio is off, and in fact it is off. The ratio in my stash, if we're just talking straight numbers, is double what's in my completed over the last 2 years, which to me is sort of tilted the wrong way just a little bit. And whether I try and diamond paint more or whether I keep doing things like giveaways until I feel like it's a little bit more reasonable level, I'd say stop buying, but there are occasions when things just need to be bought because they're different and because they excite me, and yeah, because, you know, it's something I really look forward to doing. Maybe I just need to see if any of my stash has lost that spark or not, whether they don't quite have the same spark they did when I got them, and maybe let those ones go to somebody else and create a spark. We shall see. I'll have to update my logbook with the giveaways and maybe take it from there. Lady Dax, she said she had a very lazy day. She said it's been too hot to do anything. She says she did her section last night. So today she has been plodding with 2 little 15 by 15 specials for making into her grandson's birthday cards. Oh, beautiful. That's a nice way to sort of do a special painting and then create it or make it into a card and then pass it on for a birthday. That's a nice way to sort of combine, do a painting but still have a use for it, because I do enjoy doing special paintings. I haven't done any for a while because quite often they have been, you know, my sort of little stopgap when I've not yet got round to filming a de-kitting or a kitting up for my next painting, and that's quite often when I have done my specials and I've not had that situation for a while. So yeah. Right, do I have any more of this one? 327. Oh, there's a little bit. I'm not too low for the painting itself because this could potentially be the last I need it for. But yeah, it's just because my tray's not as full as some of the others are. Anna, she says she's with me. She says she prefers to see a movie before reading the book. She says she hates it when she reads a book and then see a movie and get so disappointed when the main characters look nothing like she pictured in her head after reading their description in the book. Yes, because you gloss over the description in the book if you've seen a film, because it's like your mind tells you that you already know what they look like. Because I know, for example, with the J.D. Robb books, because, you know, they may be read as a standalone book, there is always sort of a description of the main characters given, often. And she's very good at doing it differently. So those that do read every book don't feel as though, you know, like she's using the same 3 lines to describe the main character every time. But you do sort of gloss over what she's saying because I've already got a picture in my head from previous books of what she looks like. So yeah, it's definitely better, I think, to watch the film and then read the book. And then the book can fill in other gaps and you don't have to picture somebody else in your head. Gretchen says, hi Rebecca. She says, thanks to you, she is now a total convert. Ooh. She says she used to enjoy wandering around large sections of her canvas. She has now discovered the joy and the sense of accomplishment when you do one small section at a time. Ooh. She says it has really helped her to power through the second half of her big brown painting. She says she looks forward to ordering some more cover paper from us. She says she just has to decide what other goodies to get with it first. So it doesn't have to go on its travels on its own. That's a good idea. But yeah, I mean, you know, there are people that do much prefer to sort of dance all over the canvas. And if it suits you, that's fine. But even when I have, you know, like a fairly chunky section uncovered, maybe knowing that I'm going to get a few hours to diamond paint, like I did when I took Saturday to diamond paint, I uncovered quite a big section. But my last section of the evening, which again, say was quite a big section because I started it early evening, it was amazing how much time it actually took me even to finish it off from when I thought I'd done most of it. Because I did all the big colour blocking and then the last bit I had to do was filling in all the gaps. It's amazing how much longer that takes. So I can imagine if you worked over the whole canvas, how much you would feel as though you were never getting to the end, because you would always think you were further on than you actually were. So actually working a section at a time, it does give you that level of satisfaction when you reach the end of your section. Even if that section took you longer than you thought, you still end up having an ending. Whereas if you're working all over the canvas, the only ending is the painting being finished. And that can quite often take quite a long time to happen. And yeah, you've got to have those little wins along the way. It's like when you have some big task that you've got to do. You've got to subdivide those tasks just a little bit, just to give you little check done bits as you're going along. Right, last colour. Helen, she says she's enjoying doing some smaller paintings at the moment. She says she has pretty much only done large paintings, but she has decided where she usually paints in the spare room upstairs on a big table is too cold during winter. So she's set up a folding table with her easel in the lounge, so she can paint her big whip in the evening where it's warm. She says, but she has got some 30 by 40 paintings that she got from Temu. So she can do small paintings up on her table for half an hour or so, she says, before going to work. And she is enjoying doing the small ones. She says she calls the antenna symbol bunny ears, as that's the type of antenna that they used to have for their TVs in the past. Love it. That's the first time I've heard that being called bunny ears, so that's a good one. Right, that section is done. Oh, we can fully really see the ribbon now. We do really only have these two parts to finish it off completely, but not long to go now. 4 more days. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow.